On a rainy day in Palo Alto, it's the NCS Division A semifinal match, 1984, for the Menlo Knights and the Lower Lake Trojans. 4 and 84 has been a theme for a number of times in 1984. President Reagan wanted 4 more years. San Jose State wanted a 4th win over Stanford, and now the Menlo Knights are going for their 4th North Coast Section championship and their 3rd Division A crown in a row. 2 years ago, it was a bright sunny day when the Menlo Knights barely got by Clear Lake, 20-15 in a semifinal, in which the Knights had a memorable 94-yard drive led by John Pay in the final minute of the game to pull that game out. Today they're facing the Lower Lake Trojans, who are 7-2, finished 2nd in the Central Division 1, or North Central Division 1, to Fort Bragg, also in the semifinals, facing Ferndale in the other semifinal. The Lower Lake Trojans finished 7-2, 5-2 in league. 6 of their wins were by shutout. The Knights are 4-5. They finished 3-1 in league. And the Knights facing a rainy field today, and possibly without both starting running backs. Brian Hull should be able to play, but Brady Enright is almost surely out after a 156-yard running day last week. They're going to have to put it in the air, which is probably to their disadvantage on a rainy day like today. Lynn Challenger to kick away for Menlo, and Challenger hits a low line drive kick that's fielded and pitched back at the 17-yard line and bring the ball up on a good return. It's very difficult to read the Clear Lake numbers from this far away. Menlo's numbers stand out much more, but Clear Lake brought it up to the 39-yard line, and they'll take over there 1st and 10. Jeff Dowd, the quarterback, he's number 12. Number 33, Mike Jamison, had over 800 yards rushing on the season for Clear Lake. And that time the gain goes only for a couple of yards. Second and 8 for Clear Lake. Handoff goes over the left side. Coming around the left side, this looks like Jamison, and Jamison's brought down by Scott Watchhorst up around the 46-yard line. A gain of some 5 yards in the play. They'll face 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3 from the 46 for Lower Lake. The handoff on the delay. Peter Meyer wraps him up, and Meyer throws the Trojans back, and it appears that on the first series of the second half of the game, the Trojans have been stopped. On 3rd and 3, Meyer throwing Rich Thomas, number 40, for a loss of 2 yards. Warren Moon deep for Menlo. Lower Lake to punt, gets away a nice spiraling kick. Moon looking for it and fields to the 22. Taking a risk there was Moon, trying to get under that ball, but he managed to get under it and make the catch despite the slippery conditions. Knights lining up at the 38. A penalty on the play gave them the ball at 38. Weicker going to the air on the first play. He's got Moon wide open, and he overthrows him. Moon was wide open at the 50. They had 2 men out to the left, and they crisscrossed, and Moon had some room against Jamison out there, but Weicker overthrew him a little bit, perhaps a little aware of the slippery conditions. And Menlo is going to go from a 2-minute offense in opening the game. They're going to be working without a huddle, trying to mess up the concentration of the Lower Lake defense, which has been so effective this year, registering 6 shutouts, giving up only 33 points. Long pass for Salmon, and again it's overthrown. So Weicker, perhaps with a little too much adrenaline going today, has overthrown 2 open receivers in the early going here. 3rd and 10, and the draw goes to Gustafson, who's lined up as fullback. and Gustafson can pick up only about 2 yards before being stopped. Number 85, Joe Matos, in on the tackle as Gustafson, running from the backfield on offense for the first time this year, picks up 3 yards. Fourth down and 7 for the Knights. On fourth down, Challenger to punt. No rush put on by Lower Lake to speak of, and Challenger gets away a good kick, taken at the 27-yard line. Brought out to the left side with a good block, and tackled at the 40. That's Rich Thomas on the run back. Looked like 62 Chris Rubin was there to bring him down. So a 15-yard run back, and Lower Lake has good field position for the second consecutive time. From the 42-yard line, the give goes to Jameson. Jameson running around the right side. Good pursuit. Andrew Falcon taking him down at the 44 just after a 2-yard pickup. Lower Lake is more of a running team than a passing team, and they'll be keeping it on the ground for most of today, especially under these such wet conditions. Slot back left formation. Eye backs. Looking on the option. The pitch goes to Jameson. Good containment and forcing it back inside. It looked like Rubin forced it back inside. May have been Bruce Burkhardt getting in there on the tackle and throwing Jameson back at the 42. And if Menlo can stop Lower Lake's running game early and get a lead and possibly force Lower Lake to the air, that would be definitely to their advantage. So far, they're doing a fine job. Third down and 11. Lower Lake's first passing situation. They pitch out to Jameson. Jameson's got a lot of room on the left side. Good pursuit by Maines, and Maines helps slow him down. Watchhorse making the final tackle at midfield, and they'll be facing fourth and a long 2 yards to go. It'll be interesting to see what Lower Lake will do, but it does look as if they're bringing on their punting unit. And they go with the fake. The pitch out goes out to Jameson, or rather to Don Angel, the punter, and Angel is dropped back at the 47. A big play. Menlo was calling for it, and they came up with it. It looked as if it may have been John Whelan out on the tackle at the 47-yard line. You could hear Menlo's coaches calling for that fake and yelling to their players, make sure they kick it before they drop back. And they watched for it, and they made the tackle 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Menlo coming out with 2 tight ends. Weicker straight drop, looking right side. He's got Moon out there, and Moon makes a diving catch at the 39-yard line. A great catch by Moon. An 8-yard pickup, and Menlo picks up its first yards on the air on the day. This quarter moving by quickly. 5.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Menlo on the 39-yard line. 2nd and 2. Looking for Challenger. Weicker throws it up, and Challenger can't bring it down, and that pass was incomplete. Almost picked off the ground out on the right corner, but Challenger couldn't quite use his height to his advantage there as he was well covered. And Menlo will face 3rd down and 2 from the 39 of Lower Lake. Gustafson went through a big hole on the left side on 3rd and 2 for 15 yards down to the 24. First down now, and it looked like there was a little contact out on the far side. Challenger bumped a little by Doug Cook out there, but no call, and that was rather doubt on the coverage. No call. 2nd down and 10 coming up from the 24. From the 24-yard line, strong side formation right. Utangsu and Challenger in a wide receiver slant pattern, and Utangsu can't come down with the catch. Good play out there. It looked like Benny Diazon, a junior, out on the coverage, and he got a hand in Utangsu's face and prevented him from coming down with the ball. The Menlo Knights having trouble through the air. Just 1 completion so far. 3rd and 10. Moon in for Utangsu now. Hull is in the backfield along with Roth. Hull goes in motion on the left side, makes the catch at the 20, brought down well short of the first down at the 17-yard line, and Menlo will be faced with 4th down and 3, and almost certainly will go for it. Menlo lining up on 4th down on the 17-yard line. Weicker straight drop, looking across the middle, and he's got Challenger. Challenger coming out of the backfield, brought down at the 11-yard line, but it's good for the 1st down, and so the Knights come through in their first crucial situation, moving the ball to the 11-yard line, giving themselves a 1st down, and they're in good shape to score here with 4:14 left in the first quarter. Roth and Hull in the backfield again. The give goes to Roth over the left side, and Roth smothered after picking up just about 2 yards over the left side. Roth hasn't been in the backfield much in the last 2 or 3 games since Enright came back, but Enright hurt against Valley Christian last week, and it enabled Roth to come back. Scott Roth certainly a capable replacement for Enright, averaging over 4 yards a carry this season. And the pass to Moon is caught in the end zone, but there's flags at the line of scrimmage, and it's most likely that that play is going to be negated as the flags flew on the snap. Perhaps Menlo moved, and apparently they did, as Lower Lake is clapping. So Menlo taking a blow there, as the 9-yard touchdown pass to Warren Moon will be negated by an illegal motion penalty, and they'll face second down from the 14-yard line now. Menlo lining up at the 14-yard line. Gustafson back in the game at tight end, or lined up in a slot back position. Weicker showing some mobility. He's got Gustafson in the end zone. Gustafson makes the leaping catch, and he's got the touchdown. Ted Weicker showing mobility that he hasn't shown all year. He's been sacked many times and has been a little slow in the getting away from defenders in the backfield, but he got away that time. And Gustafson, who lined up at slot back right, makes his first reception of the year, and it's a big one as it puts the Knights on top 6-0 here with 3:14 to go in the first quarter on a 14-yard pass. Weicker to Gustafson. Challenger lining up for the extra point attempt. Menlo has been weak this year on extra point attempts, and Challenger hits that one a little weakly again, but it goes through, and the Knights are on top 7-0. 3:14 remaining the first quarter, and the Knights appear to be fired up on their side of the field. Brian Kessler sprinting back to the 40-yard line, waiting the kickoff. The Knights on top by a touchdown. Challenger to kick. I believe it's Thomas and Jameson deep, and they pitch it back to Thomas. Thomas from the 20, and Thomas has some room outside, and he gets away. Finally brought down at the 43-yard line. Tattleman in on the tackle of Thomas. Second good kickoff return for the Lower Lake Trojans, and they'll take over 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Trojans coming out and firing, and it's a complete pass. Dowd hitting number 82, Rich Krunagel, his top receiver, and Krunagel carries down to the 40-yard line of Menlo, an 18-yard pickup on the first aerial of the day for the Trojans. From the 41-yard line, a pitch goes to Jameson. Jameson coming left, and he gets a nice block on the left side. Tattleman finally brings him down to the 28, but Jameson got a great block from Mike Edwards out on the left side to spring him for a 13-yard gain. From the 29-yard line, Lower Lake starting to move the ball, and Jameson hits the middle. He's dropped by Maines at about the 27 after a 2-yard pickup. 2nd and 8, the I formation. The give goes to Jameson over the right side, and this time Menlo's defense, the line pursuing well. 4 men falling on Jameson at the 27. Maines in there along with Challenger, and Tattleman also on the tackle, and it'll be 3rd down and 7 for Lower Lake. 3rd down and 7 from the 26-yard line. A big play for the Trojans. They keep it on the ground. Jameson, and a great ankle tackle there. Peter Meyer lunging in there as it appeared Jameson had a hole, but he stopped him after a 3-yard pickup to the 24. Might even been just a 2-yard pickup. And it looks as if a kicking team has come on for Lower Lake, and they may attempt a long field goal. Looks like Thomas, and it looked as if someone got a hand on that ball. Slowed it down. It may have been Andrew Falcon that came through, and it is Thomas the kicker, I believe, and Falcon got a hand on that ball. It was straight enough, but it came up some 5 yards short, and Menlo averts the scoring attempt by Lower Lake and maintains their 7-0 lead. 1st and 10 from the 20, and the handoff goes to Gustafson. Gustafson hit right away, trying to go over the left side. And hitting him was Ken Sadler, the star linebacker for Lower Lake, and has played some courageous ball this year. Apparently, in the last week's league championship game against Fort Bragg, he dislocated his shoulder in the first quarter and still came back to play later in the game. And he hits Gustafson there for a 1-yard loss. Time runs out in the first quarter before Menlo can get another playoff, and it's a quick first quarter, so that might help avoid any trouble with darkness. The scores, the Knights 7 and the Trojans nothing. The Knights go to work from the 19-yard line, 2nd and 11. Quick pattern goes for Moon, and Moon makes the catch and keeps his feet in bounds. Great job of tight-roping by Moon. Great job of leading Moon by Ted Weicker, and that quick pass picks up 20 yards up to the 39-yard line. A great pattern by Moon. The Lower Lake Trojans finding themselves a match. Their 7-2 record is very impressive as Weicker throws for Salmon, but it's short. He may have actually been overthrown Gustafson, but Lower Lake hasn't faced any large team opponents like Menlo has. Their only losses came to Cloverdale 19-9 and to Fort Bragg, who's ranked 4th in the state in Class A schools. That was 14-6. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Paul Wise is at quarterback, and he pitches forward. And it looked like there was a little mix-up there. Hull took the pitch, and they're actually going to have to call that a forward pass, probably, because Hull was in front of Wise. Weicker was shaken up on that last play. He went off under his own power and should be back soon. Third down and 11. Wise dropping back, looking for his first downfield pattern, and he throws for Collins, and he completes it. It's short of the first down as Collins is up around the 45. Menlo will have a tough call coming up on 4th down, and someone else is hurt in the backfield. It looks like Hull maybe hurt in the backfield. Hull was questionable coming in, and he's hurt his knee, and this could be a big blow to Menlo. If they lose another running back, they'll have to play almost exclusively through the air. Fourth down and 2, and Challengers into punt. Menlo not willing to risk their 1-touchdown lead on a wet day like today, and it promises to expectedly be a low-scoring game as Challenger booms a punt, but unfortunately for the Knights, it takes a bounce into the end zone. Challenger kicked that some 50 yards in the air, close to 50 yards, and it bounced in for a 54-yard punt by Lynn Challenger, and Lower Lake will take over at their own 20 on the touchback. In motion out of the backfield goes Jamison as Lower Lake lines up, and the handoff goes. No, it isn't. It's a fake, and a wide open on the left side. Scott Watchhorse is the only man out there, and a good job of running downfield, a great job of running downfield by number 82. I believe that's Krunagel, who made the catch, and there's a flag after a play. It might be a personal foul on Menlo. A great play-action fake. There's also a flag back near the line of scrimmage, and this whole play, no, the flag's going to be against Menlo at the line of scrimmage, too. A great play-action fake by Dowd at the line of scrimmage sprung Krunagel open for a long gain of some 40 yards. Mask penalty after the reception. It takes it down to the 23 of Menlo. So a 43-yard pass completion, call it the 22 of Menlo, and a 15-yard penalty. Altogether a gain of 68 yards. The handoff goes up the middle, and it's Rubin making the tackle, but not before the ball carrier carries down to the 15-yard line. It looks like it was Thomas on that carry. 2nd and 4 from the 16-yard line. Lower Lake threatening for the first time. The handoff goes to Jamison, and John Maines has played an outstanding game and has been improving all season. Maines swoops down on Jamison and throws him at the 16, maybe the 17-yard line. Could have been a loss of 1 yard line. Great speed there by John Maines as Jamison never even had time to hit full stride. The rain had subsided momentarily throughout most of the first quarter. It had been raining for about 3 hours before game time. Now it started up again. Another play-action fake. Throw into the end zone, and is caught for the touchdown. Second time that play-action fake to suck the defenders up, and that time Krunagel was better covered by Watchhorse, but he still came down with the ball on the leaping reception. A great catch by Krunagel, and with the extra point, Lower Lake can tie this game up. 8:38 remaining in the half. On for the extra point, Walker kicking it, and he puts it through. Rather, Thomas kicking it, he puts it through. And the score is tied up at 7 apiece. And in fact, it wasn't Thomas, but number 21, Dan Byerly, who hit the extra point. Thomas to kick. He appears to be the long-range kicker for Lower Lake, while Byerly is a short-range kicker, and the kick is picked up at the 27-yard line and brought back to the 41. So both teams have had good field position throughout today, as that was Hull, who's back into the game despite having had to have been helped off the field earlier. He's back in, and Menlo takes over at their 41-yard line, 1st and 10, 8:33 remaining in the half. Ball is on the Knights' 41. They line up with two tight ends again. Lone remaining back is Gustafson. Gustafson remains in to block. And on the out pattern, Derek Salmon makes the catch at the 50, gets away from one man, and is dropped at the 48. So Salmon, another receiver who hasn't had much action this year, only 4 catches coming in, but he makes a big 10-yard catch there that moves Menlo close to the first down. The completion to Salmon came up just half an inch short of the first down, and the handoff to Gustafson gets what was remaining as he follows Meyer again. Most of Menlo's rushing yards have come over that left side. Meyer goes for 4 yards down to the 45-yard line. From the 45-yard line, double tight ends again. They all stay in the block. Menlo with just three receivers out. One of the tight ends left, and that was Fulte Collins, who makes the catch at the 43. It's only about a 2-yard reception, and now Collins is down, and Menlo has been plagued by injuries all season, and it is continually reflected in today's game. Moving in on 7 minutes remaining now. 2-yard pickup in the last play. Weicker seems to be hitting the mark now, going long, and he overthrows Salmon again. Salmon had 2 men beat. He got by 23. David Hill was the last man on him, and he got by him, but Weicker overthrew him, as he has a couple of times today. When he's missed, it's usually been because he missed long. The clock showing 7:16 remaining. Second quarter. Weicker on the straight drop. Gives to Gustafson on the draw. Gustafson can't get outside. He's brought down at the 45 behind the line of scrimmage. I believe it was Ken Sadler, the linebacker, the coach's son. And he drops him for a 2-yard loss, and Menlo will have to punt for the 3rd time today. Fourth down and 11 from the 46, and this time Challenger gets away a shorter kick going for the sideline, and Challenger does a great job of putting it near the sideline, but no Menlo player can get down there, as Tim Koik, number 62, did a good job of preventing Mike Tettleman from getting down there to down the ball, and for the second time Lower Lake has a touchback, bringing it out to their 20-yard line. From the 20-yard line, strong side left formation. Handoff goes to Jameson. Big hole over the left side. Two men can't drag him down. He's finally up to the 37 before the defensive backs Wathorst and Burkhardt get him. And Jameson has shown some tough running after being slowed in the first quarter. He's had a couple of big gains here in the second quarter, and that one went for 16, call it 17 yards. Menlo has been susceptible to the run this year, but they've played excellent defense since the Bay 5 League season began. And on the keeper, it looked like a little mix-up there. Dowd keeping it only going for about a yard. Menlo gave up 100 yards to 2 different carriers their first 3 games of the season. But in the Bay 5 League season, they gave up less than 30 points, I believe, giving up only 1 touchdown to 3 different teams and 2 to Emory in their loss. That was a 2-yard pickup by Dowd. 2nd and 7, a 3-yard pickup. The pitch out goes to Thomas. Thomas pursued by Maines, and Maines again uses his excellent speed and drags down Thomas after a 2-yard gain. And they're going to have a lot of trouble sweeping to that side if Maines keeps playing the way he has. His pursuit has been excellent, and now he limits that to just a 2-yard gain, and 3rd and 5 is facing the Trojans. 3rd and 4, they call it a 3-yard gain. It looks like Dowd is checking off at the line of scrimmage. He calls the pitch right. Jameson out there. He's being pursued by Falcon, but he gets the first down. Apparently, Falcon dragged him down right around the 46-yard line. It will be very close to the first down, and the referee may spot it a little too far back. They'll have to measure, I'm sure. Lower Lake lining up at the 46 with an inch to go, just about half a foot to go. Drop back into punt formation. Menlo wary of the fake again. This time they won't get it, as the kick is away by Angel, and Moon takes it on a fair catch at the 26. So again, continually the teams have taken over with fairly good field position. Neither team has been stuck inside its 20-yard line to start any drive. Menlo at their 27 with 4:56 remaining in the half, and this game tied up 7 apiece. Menlo from its 27. Weicker is in at quarterback. Both backs stay in. He's got a man long. It's Moon. Moon's open at the 44. Moon's open and got it at the 43. Moon appears to be gone. He's got the speed, and he uses it for the touchdown. The Menlo Knights go 73 yards on the completion from Weicker to Moon, and you had to think it was only a matter of time because twice already Weicker had had men open long and for apparent touchdown passes, but he overthrew them. That time he timed it perfectly, throwing the ball some 40 yards downfield, where Moon made the catch around the 45-yard line of Lower Lake, and outran his defender all the way to the end zone. The Knights go on top by 6 again, 13-7. That was a drive of some 7 seconds and 73 yards. Menlo lining up for 2 this time. Weicker looking for Utangsu. He's got him, and Menlo's got 2. Utangsu lined up at a slot back, or in the slot on the right side, and went with a little out pattern. And that's a good pattern when you only need about 3 yards, because it throws a defensive back off just a little when the receivers cross like that. Utangsu making the catch. He was wide open. Menlo on top 15-7 here in this first half of this semifinal game at Stanford Stadium. Challenger kicking away for Menlo, and Challenger gets away a deep kick this time. He's been hitting squib kicks, and he had both Clear Lake men up around the 10-yard line, and that time put it over them to prevent any run back. Lower Lake, rather, I'm reminiscing too much and continue to say Clear Lake, but it's Lower Lake that will take over at their 20-yard line. So thus far, it appears that this game has had a few more points than expected. Jameson has a lot of room over the left side, but he needed one block out there to spring him for a lot more yardage, and Scott Watchhorse did a good job of shedding that block and making the tackle to prevent Jameson from gaining more than the 12 yards that he got. One explanation, of course, for Menlo's recent success defensively is that they haven't faced a real good back since they played Half Moon Bay. And today they appear to be facing a team with a good back in Mike Jameson rather. And he's getting his yards. That time it was Thomas who fumbled the ball forward. It almost looked like he did it intentionally to try to pick up a couple more yards, and if he did, it worked because he got about 4 more yards back to the line of scrimmage at the 32. Jameson motion out of the backfield. The remaining man again they go with the fake, and wide open is Dan Angel, the tight end, and it looks as if Lower Lake will tie this game up. And the scoring is coming in very quick intervals here today, especially in the second quarter, as there have been 3 touchdowns and there's still 3:20 left. Once again, Dowd, who is just a master of that play-action pass. He's used it twice for touchdowns and once for another long gain. He goes to tight end Dan Angel, who's all alone around the 45-yard line of Lower Lake and went the rest of the way untouched, and it's 15-13, and it looks as if Lower Lake will go ahead and just try the 1-point conversion, not concerned with trying to tie it up at this point. Byerly on to attempt the extra point. And Byerly puts it through. And so it's 15-14, which is a familiar score the last time the Knights were here. They trailed 15-14 with just a minute and a half left in the game. This time they're on top of it, 15-14, but there's plenty of time left. 3:20 to go still in the first half. Kicking off is Thomas. Thomas kicks it down to the 13-yard line. Brian Lowe takes it there. Bringing it up the left side. He's got a gap on the left side, but it closes up quickly, although he still brings it back to the 36-yard line. Thomas, the kicker, in on the tackle, along with, I believe, Jameson, or no, it's number 32, Ike Mitchell in there on the tackle. Menlo taking over at their 36. Ted Weicker at quarterback averaged 173.5 yards a game in the regular season. That helped him finish second on the peninsula among passers. And Weicker overthrows another receiver. Collins open on the far side. Weicker with over 3,000 yards passing in his varsity two varsity seasons now. The Knights from their 36-yard line. Gustafson is in at the slot back. The draw goes to Hull, and Hull is swarmed on immediately and dropped for a 2-yard loss, and it appeared that that was Keith Stein, a lineman, the nose guard, bringing him down at the 34. And Menlo's ground game has only had a couple of good gains, and the rest of the time they've been stymied. Menlo from their 34, facing 3rd and 12, sure to put it in the air. Weicker going back, has good protection, throwing over the middle, and he had Utangsu wide open, but missed him again. And a flag goes down in the backfield. I'm not sure what that's about. Weicker seems troubled by the wet conditions, although he's hit some good passes, but history suggests that that's always troubled him, as he's had problems in the past on rainy days, including last season's NCS championship game when he threw 5 interceptions against Fort Bragg. Challenger to punt away. Again, Challenger gets away a good kick. Jameson back, settling under it, takes it at the 26-yard line. Jameson with a big alley up the left side. Collins and Roth are over there to close it up. And Jameson is brought down, but not until he gets to the 46-yard line of Menlo. So a nice return of some 30 yards by Jameson, and Lower Lake with good field position with just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Crucial series for the Menlo defense. They haven't surrendered more than 2 touchdowns since they played Terra Nova in the 4th week of the season, and this time Dowd's pass is incomplete. On the coverage was Kang and Tettleman. It was intended for the tight end Angel, but Menlo has to come up with a good defensive stand here to prevent Lower Lake from getting close enough to attempt a field goal and put themselves in the lead. From the 47-yard line, Angel coming out from the tight end position again, but this time the completion goes to number 82. I believe that's Krunagel that got the catch on a quick turn pattern, and Dietmar Zapp doing a good job of pursuing from his lineman position, makes the tackle down at the 36, close to a first down. That was Conrad Diazon that made the reception on the last play. He's a junior. Looking for the screen is Dowd. He was looking for Jameson on the screen, but Jameson was prevented from getting outside by Kasser and Rubin, who read it very well, and Dowd wisely threw the ball away. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. 1:05 left in the half now. The pitch goes to Jameson. Maines in pursuit again, and Maines drags him down by the ankle. John Maines has done an excellent job of reading those sweeps, and he showed superior speed. There's a flag down, but I expect it's against Lower Lake, and Menlo will probably decline. Krunagel and Diazon, the receivers. The fake handoff goes again, but Kang makes the interception at the 20. That pass was intended for Diazon. Kang's got some room on the left side. If he can break this tackle, he can bring it up, and Menlo may have a chance to get back on the scoreboard as Kang brings it down to the 44. Menlo's got half a minute in which to move down and try to set up another field goal attempt or score. 28 seconds left. With 28 seconds from the 44-yard line, with 28 seconds left. Weicker going back, throwing long. He's looking for Challenger. Challenger's got to use his height, and he can't come down with it. Weicker had 2 men, Challenger and Moon there, but the pass was broken up. I believe it might have been Diazon and in on the coverage. That play used up 7 seconds. Menlo with 3 receivers lined up on the right again, and Weicker's going to go down back at the 48-yard line. Take a 4-yard loss as he's sacked. Menlo will have to use another timeout. The sack by Mark Gilmore. The Knights from the 48-yard line with 3rd down and 15 seconds remaining. Moon on the left side. Looks like Utangsu on the right. Throwing over the middle for Moon, and it's broken up, and a great interception made out there. Good job by Challenger of making the tackle. The interception was by 21, Dan Byerly, I believe, in on the interception, and that should effectively end the scoring of the first half. Lower Lake will simply fall on the ball here, apparently, to end the first half and take a 1-point deficit going into halftime. And so every year, for 4 consecutive years, the playoffs and the regular season both have gotten a little harder for the Knights. And this game is certainly indicative of it, as the Knights have a dogfight on their hands. No longer are they the ruling class of the North Coast section. They've got competition. The Lower Lake Trojans showing its day. An at-large team have finished second to Fort Bragg in the North Central Division I, are trailing the Knights by just 1, and both offenses have shown the ability to pass, and the Trojans have been able to run against the Knights better than the Knights have, but the Knights' passing attack has been enough for them so far. At halftime in this NCS Division A semifinal playoff game from Stanford Stadium, the score: the Menlo Knights 15 and the Lower Lake Trojans 14. The Knights will receive the kickoff when we open the second half, just moments away, and they cling to their 1-point lead at 15-14. The statistics from the first half certainly reflect the offensive battle that it's been here today. For Lower Lake, 224 total yards. A very high first half statistic. They may threaten the season high for yards surrendered by Menlo. Jameson, the running back, who had trouble early, ended up picking up 60 yards on 13 carries, and Lower Lake rushed for 68 yards overall. More amazing statistic is Dowds, Jeff Dowd, the quarterback, threw only 8 passes but completed 5 of them for 156 yards, so he averaged some 30 yards per completion. For Menlo, rushing not much, just 14 yards total, as Gustafson picked up 18 on 5 carries to lead them. Weicker hit 8 of 19 passes, had 1 intercept for 139 yards, and Wise added 8 yards passing for 147 total. Menlo had 161 total yards. Not a bad total, but still 60 less than Lower Lake. However, the most important statistic, the Knights on top 15-14 on the strength of 2 touchdown passes. 14-yarder, or rather 17-yarder to Gustafson, and a 73-yarder to Moon. We open the second half. Kang making the reception at the 11-yard line. Kang bringing it up the right side and dropped at the 30, where the Knights will take over to start the third quarter. Menlo at 1st and 10 from the 30. Hull in the backfield along with Gustafson. Weicker, short roll right, looking long down the right side, and has to go for a secondary receiver and throws it right into the hands of the linebacker, I believe Ike Mitchell, the defensive back there, and Mitchell can't hold it. A big break for the Knights. On second down, Utangsu slotted inside left of Salmon, and out pattern going for Utangsu, and Weicker hit after he released it, but the pass was well over Utangsu's head. Menlo is going to have to keep it in the air because they weren't able to rush in the early going, and Ron Bryan at halftime was saying that Lower Lake is just too quick for Menlo to try to get outside on them. On 3rd and 10, Weicker on the straight drop. Hull blocks one man, but Weicker is hit as he lets the ball go, and it falls incomplete. Weicker nailed apparently on a blitz. It looked like Rich Thomas coming, and Menlo, 3 incomplete passes to open the second half. Not a good sign for them. They'll have to punt away. Challenger to punt. He's been getting away some good kicks today, a couple of them over 40 yards. This time it's a short one, but it comes out to the left side and bounces out of bounds around the 35, so no return, and that's a good enough break for Menlo, and actually turns out to be a 35-yard punt. So even when Challenger's punts appear to be bad, they seem to travel quite a ways. I formation for Lower Lake. The man with the ball is Thomas. Thomas lined up as the tailback, as Jameson wasn't in the game on the first play of the half, and Thomas picks up good yardage, picking up some 6 yards on that carry. 2nd and 5 now for Lower Lake. Jameson back in at tailback. Strong side right formation. Give goes to Jameson, and Jameson bowling his way is through the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be close to the first down as Jameson fought for some good yards there, and he's headed for a 100-yard day at this pace. He has some 64 yards now. And on 3rd down and a yard, Maines looking to blitz from the outside, jumped over the line and gave Lower Lake a 1st down. The kind of mistakes that neither team can afford today, and neither team has been making too many key penalties, but that one surely was a bad break for the Knights. Ball's on the 49-yard line, split backs. Jameson takes the pitch from the left side. Pursuit by Kasser and Maines. Who else? John Maines along with Scott Watchhorst out there. There's a flag in the defensive backfield, but Jameson is thrown for a 2-yard loss back to the 47-yard line. Clipping behind the line of scrimmage sent Lower Lake back to their 32. They're looking for a reverse, and the handoff goes coming right to left. A big hole, and getting away from one tackler, still on his feet. I believe it's Ike Mitchell with the ball, and Mitchell carries almost the whole 27 yards, very near the 1st down, up to the 41-yard line of Menlo. And yes, that's Ike Mitchell, carried some 26 yards, close to the 1st down. A great call on 1st and 27 by Lower Lake. On the 41 is 2nd and less than 1, and throwing it away is Dowd, as he couldn't get it together, couldn't get control of the ball there, looking for Dan Angel, the tight end, again on that same play-action play that earned them the 68-yard touchdown earlier. Lower Lake facing 3rd and an inch, and Dowd sneaks it forward and is stopped quickly by Meyer, but appears to have enough for the 1st down. Lower Lake hasn't tested the inside of the line too much, as Menlo certainly has the size on them, but Lower Lake has used their speed well in getting outside, and has, on defense, has limited Menlo's size advantage and has prevented the Knights from opening too many big holes. 1st down and 10 from the 40. The handoff. This is rather Dowd keeping the ball. Dowd running outside right, brought down by Hull, but picks up a gain of about 6 yards on the carry before being brought down. That was Cook on the last carry, rather. Cook took the pitch, and this time the handoff goes to Thomas on a misdirection play, and Thomas is hit by Hull, but it should be another 1st down for the Knights, and the Trojans continue to use a lot of misdirection, play action, types of things to get Menlo off balance where they can utilize their speed, and they're doing it well. Now they've held the ball for more than 3 minutes now on this drive, and they have moved about 35 yards. 1st and 10 now from the 30-yard line. Jameson and Thomas back in the backfield. Strong side right formation. And the handoff goes to Jameson. He's lost the ball, but falling on it quickly is a Lower Lake player, alertly, as Jameson never really got a handle on that football from the very beginning, and it'll cost Lower Lake no yards, I believe, and they'll just have to face 2nd down and 10 from the 30-yard line. The Trojans at the 30-yard line. And this time the handoff goes to Thomas, and Thomas is stacked up immediately. They've been testing that inside line, and Meyer and Falcon there on the tackle, and certainly the Trojans have had more ease going outside on sweeps today than they have going through the middle of Menlo's line. Earlier, Thomas tried a 41-yard field goal, but they need some 8 yards in this play to get within that range. And who come down with the ball? No one, as the pass was intended for Krunagel around the 10-yard line. Watchhorst and Tettleman were both there on the coverage, and Watchhorst almost came down with the ball, but it was batted out. 4th and 10 for Lower Lake, and they've got a number of different options here. Lower Lake will go for it on 4th and down. Look for Dowd to put it up, certainly. Fakes the handoff and goes over the middle, and it's batted down, but there's going to be pass interference called. Burkhardt leaned in on Dan Angel, and it's tough to see from up here, but it did appear that there was contact and that Lower Lake will get a big break and get the 1st down on that play. The Lower Lake Trojans slowly moving in on the Menlo goal line. They've held the ball for more than 5 minutes now, and the handoff goes over the left side. The ball is loose, and what are they going to do? They're going to call the play dead, I believe. Menlo's on the ball, but I believe they'll call that play dead. It was Byerly carrying, and Byerly will be credited with a 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 6 now from the 11-yard line. This time the handoff goes to Thomas. No, it's Jameson, and Jameson drives for the touchdown. Jameson kept the ball, went 11 yards, And Dowd, again, did a great job of disguising who the ball went to. I couldn't tell at first whether it went to the first man or the second man, but it was Jamison who got the ball. He was stood up around the 3, but he wasn't slowed down, and he bowled his way into the end zone, putting Lower Lake on top in this ball game, 20-15. They're ahead for the first time. Byerly to attempt the extra point attempt, and it's good. He puts it right through. And so the Menlo Knights, for the first time today, have fallen behind. They're down 21-15 with 5:16 remaining in the third quarter, as Lower Lake took almost 6 minutes to drive 65 yards for the go-ahead score. Thomas preparing to kick away for Lower Lake. And he hits a line drive to Kang. Kang at the 9-yard line takes it and brings it up to the 30-yard line, where Menlo will take over. And certainly what it's going to take for the Menlo Knights is for Ted Weicker to overcome the wet conditions and start hitting his receivers with consistency, because Menlo is up against a team probably better than any Bay 5 League team, certainly better than any other team other than the Knights. The Knights working from their 30-yard line, 5:04 remaining third quarter. Weicker quick drop, throwing on the slant, and that pass is intercepted. A great diving interception, and Lower Lake has all the momentum right now. I can't quite see who it was that made that interception, but it may have been Ike Mitchell, number 32. Weicker led Salmon just a bit too much on that slant-in pattern. The ball was batted up, and Mitchell made the diving interception at the 41-yard line. Lower Lake with a great break and a chance to drive just 40 yards and go on top by 2 touchdowns. From the 41-yard line, the handoff goes straight up the middle, a 3-yard gain. Looks like Hull on the tackle, and the ball carrier was 21 Byerly. Second down and 8, called a 2-yard pickup as they put the ball at the 40 after the interception. The handoff on the right side, another big hole as Byerly again carries for 7 yards, called 5 yards to the 33, and it's third down and 3 yards to go. Third down and a short 3 yards to go. Going to the air out on the play action, and wide open back there is Jamison, and he drops the ball. And that's the biggest break of the day for the Knights so far, as Jamison was wide open as that play action suckered the Menlo defensive backs again, and he was so open that he started looking for the end zone before he got the ball, and it slid through his hands. It would have been a 13, 14-point lead for the Trojans had he been able to hold on to that ball. Fourth down and 3 yards to go. The handoff goes to Thomas. Thomas lunges, and he's got the first down. A flag is thrown into the pile there. We'll have to see what that is. It looked like Thomas might be stopped short, but he squirted through the tackles of Kasser and Tettleman and lunged over the 30 for the first down. The flag that was thrown was a personal foul against Menlo, and the ball's at the 14-yard line. Menlo in dire need of a defensive stand, but it doesn't appear that they're going to get it as Thomas drives for 6 more yards before Rubin, along with Burkhardt, make the tackle at the 8-yard line. They give Thomas 5 yards to the 9-yard line. 2nd and 5. Jamison, big hole, left side, driving for the end zone. Jamison lunges in. And Lower Lake is on top by 2 touchdowns. Second consecutive touchdown run by Jamison, which he's shown incredible balance and incredible strength, being hit for the last 5 yards of that run. Tettleman hit him along with a number of others, but they couldn't bring him down. And suddenly Lower Lake is on top 27-15, having scored the last 3 touchdowns of this game. They once trailed 15-7. Byerly for the extra point attempt. It's almost blocked, but he gets it up and he gets it through. And a scoring binge in the last 3 minutes for Lower Lake has given them a 13-point lead. 2:37 remaining third quarter, and the Lower Lake Trojans are on top 28-15. The Menlo Knights facing a 13-point deficit. They haven't faced such a drought since the third week of the season when they were blown out by Half Moon Bay in a 44-0 game. Kang brings the ball back to the 27, where the Knights will start with still 14.5 minutes remaining in this game and plenty of time to catch up, but they're going to have to start hitting their passes. The Knights at the 27-yard line. Weicker will go up. He's got time as he rolls left. He's got a man long. No one's open. He throws for Moon, and there'll have to be interference on that play. And the referee won't throw his flag. Finally, the referee from the other side of the field throws his flag, and there will have to be interference called. And it's amazing that the referee who was on top of the play didn't call it, as Moon was bumped all over the field. The Knights on the 43-yard line. And this time they go back to the ground as the give goes straight ahead. I think it's Gustafson with the ball. Weicker, a good job that time of faking the handoffs, and Gustafson kept the ball and carried for about 2 yards to the 45-yard line. The Knights with 2nd and 8. They've been running long patterns, and perhaps short patterns would be a little more effective. They're setting up the screen, and Weicker is in terrible trouble as he threw that ball when he shouldn't have. 2 men were all over Hull, and it's another interception. And Lower Lake has the ball in Menlo territory at the 35-yard line. The clock running with less than a minute and a half to go, third quarter. And Lower Lake in control of this football game. Menlo jumped off sides, and Lower Lake will move 5 yards. And this has been a disastrous quarter for Menlo, as Lower Lake is threatening to score 3 touchdowns in the 12 minutes. It was an illegal procedure call against Lower Lake to move the ball back to the 39-yard line, and that ball's almost intercepted, intended for Krunagel and broken up by Burkhardt on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 15 for Lower Lake. 2nd down and 15, a must series for Menlo. They've got Lower Lake pushed back to 2nd and 15, and they must stop them. The pitch comes outside. This is Cook on the carry. Cook getting good blocks, and Cook loses the ball, and there's a flag down, and Menlo's on the ball around the 28-yard line. We'll have to see what the flag is about, as Maines came up with the ball. Clipping was called against Lower Lake, and Menlo takes over at the 28. John Maines covering Cook's fumble. Hull loses the ball on the sweep, and it looks as if Lower Lake may have the ball back. It's tough to tell so far, but Lower Lake isn't jumping up and down, so I assume Menlo retained possession. Fortunately for them, Challenger covered the ball, and they pick up 4 yards on the play. Time runs out here in the third quarter as Menlo moves to their own 32-yard line. They'll be on their 32 as we switch ends. They're facing 2nd and 6, but they're also facing a 13-point deficit. It's the Trojans 28, the Knights 15, and they'll need another amazing Stanford Stadium comeback reminiscent of '82 if they want to travel to Ukiah for the NCS Finals next week. Off the line, Gustafson picking up perhaps a yard there before being hit by Joe Mattis. No gain on the play. Menlo will have to put the ball up apparently unless they go with the draw. They've got 2 tight ends and Gustafson in the backfield. Utangsu and Salmon, the wide receivers, looking for Challenger, and it's broken up. And Challenger's been limited all day. I'm not sure he even has a catch, as he was hit hard there, I believe, by Krunagel, and Menlo faces 4th and 6. The Trojans have only 1 man on their roster listed at 200 pounds or above compared to the Knights, who have 7, but the Knights have not looked like the bigger team on the line today, and Challenger gets away a terrible punt just to confound Menlo's troubles, as the Trojans will take over at in Menlo territory with 10:59 remaining. From the 49, Lower Lake with the ball. Expect them to keep it on the ground and try to run out some time. The give goes to Jamison. Jamison, big hole, left side, brought down by Watchhorst and Kasser, but picks up about 5 yards. And if Lower Lake can continue to pick up 4 and 5 yards a shot, they'll win this game undoubtedly. From the 45-yard line, 2nd and 6. Pitch goes. This is Cook. Cook gets by on the right side. Gustafson makes an ankle tackle, and a big tackle it was, as Cook was driving for the first down, but brought down after a 3-yard pickup. Will give Lower Lake a 3rd down and 4 situation. 3rd down and 4. The give goes. The ball is loose, and Menlo's on it, and another big turnover. The handoff with Cook was dropped, Who came up with the ball? It looks like Chris Rubin. It was Dietmar Zapp, rather, who fell on the ball, and a big break for Menlo. Had Lower Lake not gotten the first down, they at least would have been able to put Menlo deep in their own territory with a punt. Instead, the Knights have it at their own 45 and still 9.5 minutes remaining. The Knights on their 45. Weicker looking for an out pattern. He's got Moon. Moon's got to beat a man. He does a good job of picking up about 5 yards and getting out of bounds. That's the kind of play the Knights need, as Moon made a good effort to get by the man covering him, Benny Dizon, and pick up 5 yards. The story of the Knights' failure in this second half, that was the first complete pass that Weicker has thrown in the second half. And the pass to Salmon goes right through his hands. It would have been good for a first down, and Salmon is belted and remains down on the ground. He's getting up, though, and Menlo will face 3rd down and 3 from the 48 of Lower Lake. The Knights with 2 plays to go 3 yards. They'll surely go for it if they face 4th down. Hull gets the ball, and Hull gets the first down. Only his 2nd carry of the day, I believe, and Hull seemed to be having trouble getting any speed going on this slow turf. Had a good hole there and went for 4 yards in the first. Clock continues to run on the Knights. Challenger going down the middle has tight end position, but they've got him double covered, and he's been out of the play all day. Pass for Utangsu is incomplete, and they certainly have been keying on Challenger, who came in as the 2nd leading receiver on the peninsula, and they knew that he was the man they had to cover in order to make Weicker less effective. 2nd down and 10 from the 44. Gustafson and Hull are in the backfield. They both stay into block. Looking over the middle, looking down left side, and this pass is incomplete, intended for Moon, and a great job of defense over there. I believe it was Benny Dizon. It looks as if Challenger may have had a step on his man down the middle, but Weicker intended it for Moon, and it fell incomplete. 8:32 remaining. Still plenty of time for the Knights if they can get some men open. On 3rd and 10, lobbing it for Challenger, and Challenger finally comes down with the grab. Weicker putting it up, and Weicker has been off and on today, but he's hit some key passes that when Menlo needed them most, and that was one of them, a 17-yard pickup to Lynn Challenger to the 27 of Lower Lake. The ball rests on the 27, 8:15 remaining in this ball game. Menlo trailing by 13. Weicker throwing for Utangsu, and Utangsu can't make the diving catch. Menlo has continued to go with patterns to the sideline today and haven't been able to complete anything over the middle, but haven't really tried. And it's interesting to note that, simply because the passes over the middle may be something that the Knights felt they wouldn't be able to achieve today, and therefore haven't even run any patterns to that area. Moon and Salmon are the receivers. Challenger coming out from his tight end position. He's open. Now they're looking for Moon. Moon is coming back for the ball, and they call it incomplete. Moon almost came up with that, and then it was almost apparently intercepted, but Moon had scooped it off the ground after it had hit. He was double covered. Tough job for Moon, and now it's 3rd and 10 for the Knights. Menlo facing 3rd down and 10 from the 27-yard line, and everyone jumped there. Apparently it was Lower Lake that jumped, and they weren't drawn off, I believe, and that will be a big break for Menlo, as they'll have 3rd and 5 and won't necessarily be forced to go to the air. Menlo facing 3rd and 5. The handoff goes to Gustafson. A fine call by the Knights, as they knew they had 2 plays, and Lower Lake had to be expecting the pass. Gustafson goes for some 11 yards down to the 11 or 12-yard line, and the Knights are knocking on the door. Still 7:56 remaining in this ball game. If they can get the ball in quickly, they'll be in great shape to stop Lower Lake and come back for a final drive. Ball marked on the 11. The handoff goes to Hull. Hull's got some room over the right side. He's over the 10. He's down to the 6-yard line. And suddenly the Knights are moving the ball on the ground, as they haven't all day. The tackle there made by number 30, Lamar Jones, and Menlo will face 2nd and 5. 2nd and 4 from the 5. Hull over the left side, and Hull dives down across the 3. The ball was originally marked at the 12 on this drive, so Menlo can get the first down inside the 2-yard line. Menlo facing 3rd down and about half a yard from the 3-yard line. 2 big plays coming up. The handoff goes to Gustafson straight ahead, and Gustafson will be close. He appeared to get across the line of scrimmage and pick up a yard perhaps as the stop was made by Lamar Jones. They'll certainly have to measure and see what the Knights will have to do here. The Knights facing first and goal. They picked up the last 20 yards of this drive on the ground. They go to the ground again. Hull bowling up the middle, and he gains nothing. He stopped at the 2. This has been a very time-efficient drive as Menlo's used 13 plays in only a little more than 3 minutes. But they'll need to get 2 more yards now. Second down and goal. Inside 6 minutes now. Weicker rolling left. He's under pressure. He throws, and it's a touchdown. It was complete to Utangsu, who made a diving catch in the end zone. Menlo's come up short on a couple of diving catches earlier today, but Utangsu did a great job of lunging back towards the playing field and making that catch, and the Knights are back within 7. Menlo couldn't get it in on the ground on the first try. They went back to the air, tried to save themselves a little time. There's still 5:48 remaining in this game, and it's 28-21, and the Knights apparently will go for 2 again. The Knights will go for 2, a big play. If they don't make it, they'll be put in an interesting situation next time, and Weicker's under pressure, and he's thrown down. And that was a very risky call for the Knights, because now the next time they score, if they score, they'll be 1 point down and will have to face the decision of kicking an extra point to tie it, or else going for the 2-point conversion to win it outright. Now they're down by 7. It's 28-21 with 5:48 remaining. Menlo to kick away. Will certainly probably kick it deep and just hope that their defense can hold on against Lower Lake. And Challenger's kick, a great job because it doesn't go out of bounds down around the 7-yard line. And they should have kept Jamison deep in his own territory, but Jamison escapes up to the 28. A poor job of containment on that kick by the Knights, as they should have had him cornered inside his 20 or his 15. Ball control offense coming up for Lower Lake, and Menlo will be trying to stop it. And on the first play, they stuffed the ball carrier after only a 2-yard pickup. Gustafson hitting Jamison, and Jamison has only 2 yards to the 29. It's 2nd and 8. Both teams have all 3 timeouts left. Clock running down towards 5 minutes. 2nd and 8 from the 29-yard line. And dropping back is Dowd, throwing a slant pattern, and he hits his man. Short of the first down, though. A good job of stuffing that play after the completion by Tettleman. The completion to Krunagel for some 6 yards to the 35. It'll be about 3rd and 2. The Knights must stop the Trojans on 3rd and 1. They've got strong side formation right. They're trying to draw Menlo off sides. They don't. The give goes to Jamison. Jamison has the first down. He's got more. He's still on his feet. Someone's got to bring him down, and the Knights finally do. But he's into Menlo territory. Jamison, a bullish runner, brought down by Hull and Zapp at the Menlo 47. A big pickup there of 17 yards. The clock continues to run. Inside 4 minutes to go now. Darkness is beginning to descend on this field. At the conclusion of this game, the fumble on the snap. Who's on it? Menlo is not celebrating, so apparently Lower Lake has gotten back on it. Would have been a big break there for Menlo, but Lower Lake was able to cover it. Still, they don't pick up any yards, and it's 2nd down and 10. Called a loss of a yard. It's 2nd and 11 from the 47 of Menlo, and flags fly as on the snap of the ball, and it looks like Lower Lake will be penalized. Clock stopped after the penalty. It's 2nd down and 16 from their own 48 for Lower Lake. Handoff. No, it's the play action, and it falls incomplete. Tettleman almost came up with the interception. He didn't see the ball. He was so intent on covering Angel, but still for Menlo, it's a good break as it's 3rd and 16. And Lower Lake will either have to keep it on the ground and just punt it away or else put the ball up dangerously. Menlo still has 2:57 left, and they trail by 7. Well, this is the big play from Menlo. They must stop the gain here, and this time Lower Lake just chooses to keep it on the ground, and they'll punt it away and give Menlo, they'll hope to give Menlo 80 or 90 yards, as the carry was by Jamison, who's well over 100 yards now, up to about 114 yards. Lower Lake backs up into punt formation. Moon deep. We'll see if he's just going to call for a fair catch. Angel gets the kick away. Moon dangerously comes up to field the ball, and it's out of bounds. It's out of bounds, and Menlo will recover. And that's just what I was wondering about. Moon didn't call for the fair catch, tried to cover the ball on the run, and it was covered by Lower Lake. But Ike Mitchell couldn't get on it until it was out of bounds. A big break for Menlo. 2:39 remaining. They've got the ball at their 30. 2:39 remains. Knights come out at the 30-yard line. Weicker, quick out for Moon, and he overthrows him, and it's out of bounds. Menlo needed those 2 or 3 yards, and they would have stopped the clock and picked up 3 or 4, but instead it's nothing. 2nd and 10 now. 2nd down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Salmon in along with Utangsu, looking for Utangsu on the out pattern. Utangsu makes the catch at the 34, trying to get out of bounds, and will be able to, and gets up close to the 1st down. A good job by Utangsu to break that tackle. Menlo will face 3rd down and 1, and it's a tough decision whether to put it in the air again or else to just try to run it over and get the 1st down and then go to the air once more. 2.5 minutes remaining. 3rd down and a yard from the 39. They're in an I formation. They give to Gustafson. Gustafson slips, but he's got the 1st down, and he's across to the 43-yard line. Menlo has a new life as they'll have at least 4 more plays. The clock stopped with 2:25 while they move the chains, and Menlo lining up for another play. They won't use a timeout. They've got 2 left. Clock running again. Menlo from their 43. Strong side formation right. Moon is in for Utangsu. They look for Moon on a slant, and Moon makes the catch at midfield before being dumped over a 7-yard reception. That was a dangerous pass as Moon was surrounded, but Weicker threaded it, and Menlo calls their 2nd timeout. They've got 1 left. They're at midfield. Plenty of time left still. 2:11 remaining, and Menlo is 50 yards away. I don't think he should have used that timeout. Darkness is rapidly shrouding this field, and the rain is coming down harder. This game is being finished under very poor conditions, but Weicker hits Utangsu. Suddenly, Ted Weicker is hot. Suddenly starting to throw the ball with a little confidence as Menlo has another 1st down around the 40-yard line. The clock will run as soon as they set the chains. 2:05 remaining. Menlo lining up strong side formation right. Again, 2 men in the backfield. They both stay in the block. Looking for Utangsu. Utangsu's open over the middle, but Weicker is brought down. Weicker's brought down 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Menlo is going to use a timeout, and that's their last one, which will make things much tougher for them. Weicker sacked 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Menlo on the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 14. No timeouts left. Weicker looking. He's got time. He's throwing. He's got Utangsu, and it's through his hands. The ball was lobbed up, and on the coverage, it looked like Cook on the coverage, and Menlo suddenly faced with 3rd and 14, and the game's coming down to these final 2 plays on this drive. 3 receivers in for Menlo. Moon, Utangsu, and Salmon. 3rd down and 14. 1 receiver's knocked down. Going for Salmon. It was Moon, and Moon made the catch at the 30. A great sliding catch by Moon. It's very close to the 1st down. It looks like it might be a little bit short. Warren Moon, a great effort. Menlo's got 4th down, and they're going to have to go for it on 4th down. I don't know if they realize what their situation is. They're lining up. 4th down. This is the ball game right here from the 30-yard line. Menlo needs a yard. Will they run? Will they pass? They go to the air. Weicker's in trouble, and he's brought down, and that's the ball game. Barring a miracle, the Menlo Knights' reign in the North Coast section has ended. Lower Lake sacking Weicker. It looked like number 72, I believe. Keith Stein coming through, dropping Weicker at the 39-yard line. Menlo stopped with 4th and about 1.5 feet to go. And I'm not sure the Knights were even aware of their situation, but they've got no timeouts left, and they've lost the ball with 1:15 remaining in the game. Lower Lake lined up with 1 man way back at their 20-yard line, and I wonder if they might not go ahead and take a safety on this play. Pitch it back to that deep man. No, they won't. He's just a safety man in case there happens to be a fumble. Cook down to the ball at the 37-yard line. Menlo unable to stop the clock. There's 45 seconds left, and it will run out, and the Knights will finish this season not only as no longer the NCS champions, but also with a losing record at 4-6. Cook lining up over the ball again. The clock running, 18 seconds left, and that's the last play they'll have to run. Cook takes a 1-yard loss. The clock winds down, and so the Menlo Knights, for a moment, looked as if they might restage their comeback of 2 years ago here at Stanford Stadium, but it wasn't to be. And all this season, it looked as if the Knights weren't quite the team that they have been in the past. They've pulled out the games when they needed to, but it didn't happen today. The Knights falling 28-21 to the Lower Lake Trojans in a well-fought offensive battle. The key moments coming in the middle of the second quarter when the rather in the middle of the third quarter, when Lower Lake put 2 touchdowns together on top of each other. Once again, the final score, Lower Lake 28, the Knights 21. The Knights failed in their bid to capture their 4th straight North Coast section title. It'll be Lower Lake next week against the winner of Fort Bragg and Cloverdale. The Knights finished the season with a 4-6 record. From Stanford Stadium, the Knights 21, Lower Lake 28, and that's the 1984 season for Menlo.